This is the beginning of the podcast.
The beginning of the first podcast in 3 weeks that we've
And
done.
for this, we get shirtless Chad on this episode.
No one will see
Perfect.
it, but here it is.
Well, it
Oh,
will go
I-
on YouTube.
Well,
Have
If
we
you're-
put any podcasts on YouTube?
I put like the first 3 or 4, and then I just don't have time right now. So maybe in the winter time I'll catch up on them.
Perfect. So you will be on YouTube shirtless, Chad.
that's fine. I mean, I've been on a lot of places shirtless, so all over Instagram,
Perfect.
Facebook. This is not new to me.
The
This will get
shirtlessness
us
is not.
views. This
Actually,
will get us views.
but I've never been on a landscape site shirtless ever. Actually, not since I started natural design. I've been
Well,
on
we-
someone else's job site shirtless, but
You were
never
working
my
with
own.
someone else who didn't give a shit.
Yeah,
Whatever.
we didn't care.
Go
We wear
for the
safety
shit.
vests and shorts. And actually, I was in the newspaper once. I was working in Castleman, which is a town not too far out of Cornwall, and I was working for another landscaper. I was probably 16, and I had really short shorts on that day for some reason, and someone took a picture of me and put me in the newspaper. So it wasn't a very big newspaper. Castleman's like, I gotta say 15,000 people, maybe not even that. Maybe it's like 10,000, 5,000, who knows? Anyway,
Just saying, that's your 15 minutes of fame.
that's my 15 minutes of fame. I was
Nice.
washed up way before this podcast.
Stuff way before this podcast.
uh,
I've been so like my volume isn't showing anything on my headphones. Why would that be? Ah,
can you
fuck,
hear
you guys
us?
are gone.
I can hear you just fine.
I know, but you guys left. You're gone.
I'm still here.
I know, but I don't understand what just happened. Maybe I should go back one.
Are we already into our worst hour?
Oh, I found you.
Perfect.
I feel like this has not been a great start to the. Maybe I'm
And he's gone.
default microphone, internal microphone, headset mic. Is my microphone working?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, well then I don't. Can you guys talk now?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Oh, the headphones are working. I just can't tell. So the headphones were like totally working. I just can't tell because I'm. So I was thinking we should do this thing. Overrated or underrated, and I have a list of items, and I'll ask them, and then you guys can tell me if they're overrated or underrated. Okay.
And
Fire
you'll give
away.
us your answer too?
Yeah. course,
No, I
of
thought that
course.
maybe you guys can make a list of items, and then I would be surprised because I mean, I have an opinion on these items. That's
Yeah.
why I'm asking them, right?
All right.
I have a preformed. So my first overrated or underrated for you guys, and either person can jump in at any time, is tilt rotators. Overrated or underrated?
Underrated. I used mine today and I'm still blown away. Like I put in Riverstone, the big stuff, like the stuff that you can't shovel by hand. I put that in with the tilt rotator today, and it would have taken the guys maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours of cursing and being pissed off, and we did it in 15 minutes, and it was great.
I've never tried one. I've never used one, and I will still say underrated. I saw Jeremy of J Squared replace a track on, I believe it
I
was
saw
an
that
MT100.
Yeah.
And that was pretty impressive. I still think it's a green screen. I still think it's fake, but pretty impressive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you guys ready for the next?
It's going to be a heart blower.
Tilt rotator videos on Instagram.
I thought this was
Underrated
coming.
or overrated?
I
If-
haven't.
I would say at this time what I'm seeing overrated, but then every once in a while a video like that replacement of the tracks comes on, and it immediately becomes underrated. That kind of if it's something interesting, if it's something new, if it's something cool, I like to see that.
Chad, overrated or underrated? Tilt rotator videos on Instagram.
I still like to see them, but I flip through them more often than not now. So overrated, I'd say.
Overrated. Okay. Next item. Tilt rotator videos with viral music on Instagram. Underrated or overrated? Just say it. I feel like NCon should sponsor this fucking episode or Steel Wrist, or whichever one Chad has.
I have a steel wrist. But,
Do you think that the viral music makes them overrated or underrated?
Anything with viral music is overrated at this point.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Here was a controversial one from this week. Overrated or underrated? The mud mixer.
Oh,
I have one on order, and I just have to go pick it up. So I'm excited to use it.
How much was it?
This one was $3,300, but
That's
was
all
a good
those
deal.
things cost.
Yeah, it's a really good deal. I think they are 3,000 US, and then you'd have to get them shipped up here. So I think like Canadian, that's 4,000, and shipping, I think 4,500 Canadian.
okay. Can you guys run me through this? Like I've seen maybe one video. Like someone explain me the concept of the mud mixer.
It just hooks up to a hose, and you just plop a bag of concrete in the top, and it just automatically mixes it.
What? So
Spits it out on the other end.
It's
Yeah.
hydraulic, or like how does it? What's
No,
it running
yeah,
off?
like
Of?
It's like a
motor.
hopper.
Yeah.
It has a motor, I guess.
Okay,
Yeah,
so like a
it's
little
got a motor.
Honda or something like that.
This
It's
sucks
an
if you don't
electric
even know what it
motor.
is.
Yeah.
Well, no, I saw one video, but I don't know. Like, does it run off a shovel? Is it
No,
standalone? Is it
It's standalone.
okay?
Yeah.
And
So
it's electric.
So you just plop a bag
It's
of concrete.
electric, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
And this thing's
Jeez.
only $3,000.
Well, I got a good deal on it. It'd probably be about 4,500 Canadian.
So even at 4,500 though, I feel like
It's still a good deal.
people who are like giving the mud mixer a hard time, I've never, like, because people are like, oh, I could use a wheelbarrow. I'm like, yeah, fucking great. You ever done that
Yeah.
all day? It sucks ass.
Yeah. Well, especially if it's just like a small thing that you need to do, right? Like you're not going to be able to order concrete for it, right? So
Where does this thing start and stop being effective? Like, am I mixing a pool cope or a pool
I don't think
collar
you're
with it?
I don't think you're doing that with it.
What am I
think
doing with it?
I saw somebody talk about that. Actually, it took them like a full day to do that,
Okay.
a full pool collar. So at that
So-
point, like you're probably ordering concrete to get that.
We've done pool collars where we have this big hopper basket that goes on the MT 100, and then we take our auger, like our post hole auger, and we put it inside the hopper.
I like where this is going.
And we put a bunch of water and concrete in this hopper, and we just mix it with the concrete auger, like 10 bags at a time, or the post hole auger. We mix it 10 bags at a time, and then we drive it to the pool, and then we just shovel it out and build our grade beam. Probably not as effective as this mud gun or whatever it is you call it.
What's the mud mixer?
The mud mixer. Yeah.
Yeah, like it got a lot of controversy. It's almost a unilift. It's close. Like it's close on the controversial level of people that have a lot of hatred for it because they love mixing concrete and wheelbarrows.
Right.
This guy, because you can mix like 40 bags an hour or something with it.
I'm trying to look that up. I think you're
It's
right.
like 40 bags an hour. And I'm like, I know I looked at this thing pretty heavy because I'm lazy as ass.
I would spend that money, I think.
It's an easy spend, right? Like that's not,
But so here's a question. How do you mobilize this thing? Is it too heavy
it's
to
small.
lift?
No, it's small. I think it's like 120 pounds.
Okay.
It is. So I'm on it. It's 66 inches long, 22 inches wide, and 35 inches tall.
So what inspired you to get one, Mike?
I've got like a job coming up that's going to end my season, and it's I'm going to need to pour a pad and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 piers for a pergola, and then a bunch of piers for privacy screen.
Oh
It's
my
gonna be
god,
like
a pergola.
yeah.
Fucking post holes. Sauna
So-
tubes.
So it was kind of the thing that I figured I'd buy. It would make sense for the final job of the season, and then next year, especially for me, right? Like I'm ending the season now by myself. So for me to just throw a bag of concrete in this hopper and then go off and do something really quick and then, put another bag in the hopper, I feel like it was a good call being a one-man show to end the season.
I think it was a great. I like the thing.
Yeah.
I don't understand the hatred. Like it's like half the shit on Instagram that I don't. I saw RC outdoor and that Earthworks defending the shit out of their mud mixers, and I was like, I wish I had been that passionate about the Unilift last year, but I'm not. I wish I was. I wish I was more passionate. Like those two guys had a lot of passion for the mud mixer. I would have just been like, "You're fucking idiots," but they really launched a campaign for mud mixers. And I
hope they're getting paid.
Do I hear sponsorship?
I don't. Maybe
From
that's
Mud
the
Mixer?
next sponsor. Mud mixer sponsorship. Mix the mud. The only commentary I would make on is a couple of videos. It seemed like it was the concrete was coming out really wet, but I'm not there.
You can
So-
change.
Yeah,
you
that's
can
a
change
human
the
error,
setting.
I think.
Yeah. So it actually has a dial to it that you can change how much water gets mixed into it.
Yeah, so that was like there was one of the pads that they were pouring, and I was like,
Yeah.
that is really fucking wet. But then I don't know how many adjustments there are. And to be fair, I don't know what the hell Richard's doing. It's a video on Instagram of a thing mixed. Maybe it's supposed to be that wet. Maybe the engineer told him that. I don't fucking know. And I don't care enough to inquire again. I just looked at it and was like, that looks pretty wet. I should have made a commentary. Looks way too fucking wet, bro. Just to cause trouble. I thought about just commenting on everyone's shit, just being like, this is fucking crap. Just to see all right, next item. You ready? Face mix pavers, overrated, underrated. Do we really need them? Does it really
Fairly
fucking
rated.
matter?
Fairly rated.
I want to say I've never used a face mix paver. Could that
Really?
be true?
No, you've obviously used them.
Use-
Where?
Para?
Oh,
All the new Techo block pavers.
yeah.
are
Okay, I
face mix.
use the
HD
what's that
HD2?
octagon one or hexa?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
use
Alexa. Yeah, the
That's
Lexus. Yeah.
Fairly rated. I don't know. I've never seen them age.
That's the other thing.
I'm not old enough.
Are
Never
they going
seen
to
them
start to
age.
pit, or what's going to happen to that?
Are they all
No.
that pre-sealed look sort of thing?
No.
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 There's
Face mix pavers Beacon Hill. Well, you don't have a lot of.
yeah. We
Unilock
don't have
here.
Unilock out here. So
Well, that's because
Nothing
you're the
there.
distribution capital of the world. I think you have fucking Unilock. It'd be some kind of Unilock. Build a distribution center.
There-
in Cornwall.
there is Unilock about an hour away, but it doesn't make it here.
All right. You
So,
guys
Mike, wait. Face mix or through mix, underrated or overrated?
Who, from me?
Yeah.
This is my opinion is that it's I'm just because now everyone's got this I'm picking on Techo Block here, but HD2 and then regular mix, and I'm HD2 is more expensive. I don't know, it's a buck more. I don't even look at the prices of pavers when I price jobs, so I don't really know how much they are. I kind of just make it up as I go along. So I should probably buy your spreadsheet, Mike. I saw you were discontinuing it or something, and I was like, "Ah, fuck! I didn't get on that train."
Mike, you have it, man. I sent
know.
it to you already.
I know you did. I know. So I'm just okay. So I'm going in the customer's overall experience. At the end of the day, how big a difference is it between a through mix paver and a face mix paver once you put all the fucking patio furniture on, everyone's out there barbecuing, having a great time? I'm wondering if there's ever been a person that walked out and was like, fuck this shit. These are through mix pavers. I'm out. Screw you and your barbecue. I don't give a fuck about your burgers. I don't care how long it took to make the jalapeno poppers. You got no motherfucking face mix pavers. I'm out. I don't like. I just like. I don't know. I think they're fairly rated. I get because it's not a huge difference in cost. Like it's like $1 a square foot or something. You know, like what I pay at that. I don't have face mix pavers in my backyard. I have through mix pavers, and I don't really go out there ever. But if I did go outside after work, I don't think it would affect how much I enjoyed the backyard, but maybe it would. All right, ready? Next one.
Yep.
We're really lining them up here. This is great content. I really, when I was at soccer tonight and I was writing this list, I was like, man, this is almost bordering on real podcast stuff that actual podcasts do. Like we're close to doing something real here. Because so far
this episode did take a really good turn from the beginning to this. So thank you for doing some show prep there, Mike.
Show prep. Show prep. Vacuum lifters, overrated, underrated.
Always underrated.
Yeah, I have got to agree with that. Though, like, I use vacuum equipment like a lot, so I don't see why people wouldn't. It's got to be underrated, in my opinion.
My opinion is it's massively underrated as well, and then I think that everyone thought it was like super cool for a bit, and I think that now people are probably not doing as much stuff as could be done with it because everyone's too busy watching fucking spinning buckets. Like, I feel like vacuum technology, like that was the viral videos like pre-pandemic, right? Like MQuip fucking pounding out viral and I think that like there's so much more that could be done with it that isn't being done with it because everyone's too focused on fucking tilt rotators. But that's just my opinion. I'm actually being serious about it too. Like, I think there's so much more that could be getting done with like some kind of vertical. I don't know. The whole thing amazes me. I love it. I think it's cool.
Everything from like those Gravos to a Unilift. I'm going to be renting a Unilift for this last project. So I'm going to have the hate train with the mud mixer, the Unilift, all of that being posted this month. So this is going to be great.
Can you say something bad about buggies? Like standing with the mud mixer with the Unilift in the background, bad mouthing buggies. Like that would be the trifecta of online hate. Like
I'll have to rent a buggy just for that. I'll just have it sitting there. I won't even use it.
I'll send my buggy out there. Where is it? We're not using our buggy on this last. So actually my next item is buggies. Overrated, underrated.
I want to say overrated. We get by just fine without a buggy.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we have our I've told you about our like makeshift buggy, right? That big hopper that we can carry around when we need it. But I don't know. I've never used one, so for now I'll say overrated.
I honestly don't have so much of an opinion because I haven't used the buggy either. What's their capacity like usually?
Ours is 1.5 yards.
Ooh.
It's like 3 S70 buckets.
Ooh.
So it cuts trips down from 3 to 1. Now, I would have told you I'd made some facetious, possibly could have been misconstrued as anti-buggy videos in the past. Where I might have been like, being kind of a smartass about how we are a pro-buggy family. We don't tell our children to hate buggies. I don't know if you guys remember that video, but so I may have been on the side of buggies are massively overrated, honestly. So we had one. And now that we have one, the production level I watched the guys get with it, like there was only 2 of them for a bit on the residential crew. I think they're underrated, honestly. If you were to mix mud into a buggy, with the mud mixer and then travel it to the backyard.
Oh man.
Fuck man. People would just they'd basically you'd shut down Instagram. If you were to do anyways, we have a buggy. So perhaps shout out to RC Stone who's texting me at 9:00. Let's see what he wants. You guys want to know what Alex wants from RC Stone?
Sure.
My apologies for not sending this by the end of the workday, but we do need a truck in the morning. Sorry for the late notice. Underrated or overrated? Should we send Alex from RC Stone a truck in the morning?
How much work does he give you a year?
He's been a great customer this year.
Then do
They are great guys. They are hype. They're usually very organized. I'm picking on them on this podcast because I'm pretty sure that they all listen to it. So they're usually really, and they're great to deal with. They're all friendly and professional, and I really like them. They're great. So
They get a truck.
Yeah, get a truck out to the
Okay.
guys.
I'm gonna text him back. Yep. No problem. Now I have to remember to call Christy in the morning before 7 o'clock when she shows up at the other job site. I will probably forget, just so everyone knows. RC Stone was promised a truck, and I'm about to let them down. It's about to happen.
I guess we'll find out tomorrow in the story.
Yeah.
Totally sure. Okay. This is a good one. I like this one. This is one that I thought was jointing compound.
Which one?
Overrated or underrated?
Which a brand? Do you have a brand in mind?
No, because good God, I don't need 5,000 messages from one. I thought about that, and then I was like, I don't need the fucking headache. So I'm just saying jointing compound in general. Let's assume that it's all fairly similar, no matter what size or color bucket it comes in.
So are you talking about those resin-based ones?
Yeah, resin-based jointing
okay.
compound. I'm not talking about fucking good God, I'm not opening the polysand. Polysand, overrated. I said it. Fuck off. Someone can text me, DM me later about it. I'm talking about the washing ones.
Yeah.
Overrated, underrated.
Underrated, except the time it takes to actually install it.
Does it actually take more time then by the time you pre-compact, post-compact, recompact, resweep? Don't blow it though. Fuck that shit. Like I just saying like anyways, I know they're time consuming. I agree, but you're saying underrated?
I say underrated.
If you would have asked me last week, I would have definitely said underrated. But I've had an issue come up with something on a pretty large scale that is going to require some outside consultation, and we're going to see. Ask me again in a couple of weeks.
I'm a little bit worried about that, is because that's tough to get out, isn't it? Like if you have to remove some.
It doesn't stick to the pavers, right? It sticks to itself. So I won't elaborate just yet because I don't know if our insurance is up to date, but we'll talk whenever things get sorted out.
I don't think the not our finest hour insurance policy covers natural design landscape.
Yeah. So previous to Chad's comment he just made, I would have said it was underrated. I think it's great stuff. I don't know the whole story that Chad has. So
I've had a lot of phenomenal jobs done with it that I have absolutely no issue. But yeah, I can maybe elaborate on this one.
Do you think you misinstalled it?
Absolutely not.
Did you pre-compact?
No.
Oh, dude!
We should edit this.
Your job is
don't say that.
No, the rep was there. Actually, was he on the site? No, he was on the site a couple weeks before or something, and there was no pre-compaction on that at all. With that stuff, I thought that was just poly sand they wanted you to pre-compact.
I think everything they want to pre-compact because they
but you're pre-compacting. There's no sand in the joints anyway.
Okay. But it's the setting into the pavers, and even on ICPI, it's not. I have to pull up the tech spec again, but it's not. What is the word? Necessary to pre-compact? I don't know. I had to go back into that and take a look at it.
Okay, let me throw one thing at you that'll take that whole fucking pre-compaction off the table. It's on a synthetic base,
right?
So. You can't pre-compact a fucking synthetic base, right?
That takes it away.
Yeah. So again, we'll elaborate another day.
I'm looking forward to this.
Same.
I feel like this could be the moment, the start of the cascading moment to the
It'll
shutting
be-
down of the podcast.
It's also
It's a downward escalator, and we're at the peak right now because we had actual content and pre-show prep, and quickly Chad started down the escalator to complete obliteration.
It all started when I showed up with my shirt off.
Well, that's true. Started when you should.
But we need to tease people to listen to the next episode. So that's a good teaser.
It is.
Stay tuned to next episode to learn more about Chad's pre-compaction story.
Joint and compound on synthetic base.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I was
Well, maybe-
absolutely
maybe
told
the-
it was completely fine to do. Right? I didn't go out of my way to do this without guidance. But we'll elaborate another day.
For Chad's sake, we should probably move on.
Let's move on before it totally gets out of okay. Next one is podcasts. Overrated, underrated.
Whose podcast?
This one not
Who's
I don't know, all of them. In general, podcasts, overrated, underrated.
That's a wide net.
Well, not really. Well, how do you think? A lot of people don't listen to podcasts.
Yeah, that's tough. Like, I feel like right now, overrated because I think so many people have podcasts. But we are in that like upward trend. I think that it'll start to come down and we'll be back to underrated again really fast when more and more people find out about listening to podcasts.
I agree. I listen to them now. Motivational ones. Yeah. The pain is temporary. Chad, what do you overrated, underrated?
Underrated, especially when you have a long drive. We've been doing a lot of long drives and they are great.
Listening to podcasts, underrated. Yes.
Yeah.
So I drive all day, every day, like literally all day. Because when I'm done driving, I get in the Veloster and do some more driving to soccer, and then I drive home from soccer, and then I get up at 4:30 in the morning and I go back to doing some driving. So I've started listening to them because I find that today I was listening to different podcasts and it was 1:00 and I was like, holy shit, it's already 1:00. That's fucking crazy. I feel like the time went faster. So I'm going to still stay with underrated for me. Here's it. This one I just thought of. It's not, my list is actually done, but I just thought of this. This could be a bit controversial. Landscaping coaching calls. Overrated or underrated?
Like consulting?
Yeah, well, coaching. There's like, getting some coaching for your landscaping business from a coach. Overrated or underrated?
I think it's very important to seek guidance from somebody that is in the shoes of where you want to be in the future. So underrated if you are going after the right person and paying for the right person. That being said, I've never paid for coaching in my life.
What would you expect out of it if you did?
I think I would expect a lot of what I get when I interview people on how to hardscape. So maybe better to start your own podcast.
That are underrated or overrated.
Or it depends.
Would you call a coach, Chet?
Not unless I was getting specific numbers, right? If I were paying to call somebody, I'd want specific unit rates for that they've used in the past or something like that have helped them to
win. Would you just want the number, or would you want to know how they got? Because I can give you unit rate numbers on anything, because all I did was bid unit rates. But how I got to those unit rates, that's the interesting part, not the actual unit rate.
No, I'd like to know how you got to them for sure.
Because that's where the real work lies, right? The real work lies not in the and like taking the cost of the paper for a unit rate is fine because it doesn't matter. You just look it up or call, and maybe you get
Yeah.
a better deal than I do because you have better credit or whatever. But how I arrived at the rest of it is the interesting. Like we have a client who constantly says they have 2 loads to get rid of, and it turns into like 5. And I'm like, I started thinking to myself, like, are these guys just looking at going like, I think it's going to be 2 loads, man? Or are they doing any? Because I don't know. Like, I don't, they're just a client. But now if they call for 2 loads, I book the truck for the whole day. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to be there all day. But I'm like, how are they calculating it? Are they calculating a fluff rating into their excavation? Like, or they think that they're like, if they calculate it out and it says they're pulling 10 yards, do they really know they're pulling 13? Like, I don't, like, if no one taught you, then how would you know? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, you'd have no idea. So I was just interested because without insulting, I was going to call a guy and be like, yo, bro, like, how are you calculating this? Can I help you? Like, because
Maybe he needs a coach.
well, that's what I'm saying. Would that be information you might want from a coach, or
Yeah.
would you even know you need it? Like, I don't know.
That's
Would you
the
pay me to coach you?
Yeah, I think so. If I
Really?
had it, yeah. You've
Oh.
been in the industry longer than I have, and you've done a lot of similar work to what I do.
That's true.
If I were bidding
How much would you pay me?
as little as possible, but I would still
Okay.
pay you.
As little as possible.
Probably like a case of beer, depending on the information that you have.
if that's all it takes to win a job, absolutely. I'll FedEx a case of beer to you or whatever it is. But no, like if I were at my desk and I was stuck for a unit price for mulch, which I just fucked up hard a couple of weeks ago on a job, absolutely. If I could make that call and talk it out with somebody that's been in that situation before, definitely worth some money.
I was only thinking about this because it's like a popular trend now that, like, if you're an Instagram personality, you do coaching. Maybe I should launch it. Am I an Instagram personality?
Absolutely.
I think you are.
All right. Well, maybe I should start a coaching section on my website. I was only asking because I was like, well, would I call someone to, and I was like, I actually call lots, like say, like recently I've made some poor decisions on who owes us money. Like, just, they were bad decisions. I think I even knew they were bad decisions, but I did it anyways, thinking the best. I don't know why I did it. Anyways, I made some poor decisions on it. And so we had a new client, and I had like called everyone I known to like vet them and saying, hey, have you ever worked with this guy? And eventually because we had another guy called me, like a local guy that I've never dealt with before, but I've seen his trucks, and he has 250 loads of fill to remove. So, that's like, let's say, like, if it really is 250 loads, because I don't know, he said, I think it's 250 loads. I said, based on what? Looking at the pile? Like, that looks like 250 loads. Fuck yeah. Times, how much were we doing that for? 250 times. So, like, realistically, we're looking at like this job, this 250 loads. I mean, we might do it. I don't know how long it would take. It's depends. Anyways, we're looking at like 70 grand basically to get rid of this 250 loads of, maybe a bit more. So, like, I called around because I was like, I don't know who this fucking person is. And I'm going to be like, yeah, owe me 70 grand. Fuck yeah. Like, so I called a bunch of people and was like, hey, do you know this guy? And a bunch of people do know him, and he worked with them. And they said, okay, like, make sure he pays you weekly. I was like, okay, perfect. And now I know. And I was like, would I have paid for that, like a coach for that kind of information? Probably.
Yeah.
Like, or, like, if there was something that I was doing that I was like, well, like, some bin companies started following me and DM me about something. And I was like, messaged them back and said, hey, do you want to go like out for dinner? Like, I'll buy your dinner because, the guy messaged me saying, hey, can you do some 14-yard fill bins for me in Durham? I've got a bunch of bins, but I don't do Durham. And I was like, yeah. Then I messaged the guy and I was like, "Hey man, you want to go like out for dinner? Because like you've obviously been in the bin business a long time and I haven't, so God knows how much I'm fucking this up." Like, and I was like, I would, I'm paying for that guy's dinner, I guess. Like, would I pay to talk to that guy? Probably, because he
Yeah.
knows a lot more than I do. Like, in theory, maybe he doesn't. Maybe his business is a fuck show, but looked okay on Instagram. 'Cause
Everyone on
posts-
Instagram looks okay.
I think it's an interesting trend. I think it's like people, like if someone DMs me, people were DMing me a bunch of stupid shit this week, and I was gonna bring it up. So fuck off. Like, what do you? Oh, I know what it was. So like in my notes, I've been writing like the fuck I will, and you remember that.
I seen
And
that.
but a bunch of people started like, I don't know what your problem is with me. What are you talking about?
They think it's personal.
Yeah, they were like, well, because no one uses notes except for me.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only person on the planet who uses it every day. So like, the guy's like, well, I don't know what your problem is with me, and I'm like, I don't have any problem with you, dude. I don't fucking know you. And they're like, well, you keep sending me these rude notes. I'm like, it's public domain. What are you talking about? Rude notes. I was like, oh, I know one. Cornucopias, underrated or overrated?
I had no idea what the hell a cornucopia was until I saw you
Really?
post that, and I had to Google that.
Oh,
Did
I
you
still
never go to
don't know
grade
what
4?
it is.
Like, didn't you
No,
draw like color pictures of these things and make crafts
never.
in like whenever you were.
What is
child?
it? A
How old are
wicker
you?
board with vegetables? Like,
yeah, it's a big horn full of us. How old are you?
I'm 31.
31. Our education system is failing. 31 years old doesn't know what a fucking cornucopia is.
I've never seen a cornucopia in my life. I've heard the word, never cared to like look into what the hell a cornucopia is. Never. Where would you find one?
At Thanksgiving.
On the table of plenty. Get the cornucopia from the table of plenty. That's like a statement. I don't know what it has to do with Thanksgiving, but there was a whole thing. The cornucopia is on the table of plenty. It was some kind of like kids book or something.
Okay, the only place I know where the cornucopia comes from is the Fruit of the Loom logo.
That's a cornucopia.
That's all I know it from.
But did you know that was a cornucopia?
No idea.
I
thought
it was the Fruit
a
of the Loom
wicker
logo.
basket full of vegetables.
Well, it's a horn. It's a horn. It's the horn of plenty. It's not the table of. It's the horn of plenty. The cornucopia. The horn of plenty. That's what it's. I don't know why that popped into my. Because that guy was like taking things personally. I was like, fuck. Like, well, I'm gonna hate on cornucopias for a bit because. Is there anyone that's going to take that personally? Is someone going to start DMing me? Yo, man, cornucopias. I identify as a cornucopia. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, no, I don't know.
When was the last time one of you have seen a cornucopia in real life?
Never.
Okay.
Yeah, probably never. It's a figurative thing.
Is it?
Well, maybe. No, I'm sure
Like,
it's real. I'm sure they exist.
Like Bigfoot.
It's well. When you looked it up, was there images online?
Yeah, there
Cornucopias?
was. Yeah.
So they were real then.
Must
The cornucopias were real. Like I've never been around one. I've never been near a cornucopia that I know of.
Maybe they only exist in drawings.
Fruit of the Loom.
Fruit of the Loom. It's a drawing, right? Like they're all.
You think they would have put the fruit on a loom?
Yeah.
Like not in a cornucopia. Like it should be fruit of the cornucopia, not fruit of the loom. Like the loom should have fruit on it or something. Like this.
Okay.
We're so far out of the realm of anything contracting.
Yeah.
But
So
this was-
cornucopia is overrated, underrated.
Overrated.
Overrated, right?
I think they're overrated.
Yeah, they gotta be.
Fucking bullshit. No one has one. It's not even. I don't even think it's like. If someone has a cornucopia and sends us a picture to the Not Our Finest Hour Instagram, I'll send them $100.
Ooh,
But I want someone that has a real cornucopia, like
yeah.
on their harvest table. I want a true picture of a horn of plenty being enjoyed at a Thanksgiving dinner. Thanksgiving dinner, underrated or overrated?
Always underrated.
Always underrated.
Oh,
I agree.
No matter how bad, it's good.
Really?
Yeah, I'm the only one in my family who likes the dark meat. I
Oh,
get
same.
2 legs.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's
How can
insane.
you not like the dark?
How can you
meat?
not like the dark
I
meat?
can't believe people like the white meat.
Yeah, exactly.
I like the white meat.
It's fine, but if there's dark meat, why would you not go for the dark meat?
I don't know. I just never have.
Really?
You never have?
No, I'm a mashed potato person at Thanksgiving dinner.
Same. Stuffing, well, all of it really.
I
Except
feel like
cranberries. Except cranberries. No cranberries.
No cranberries.
I feel like we don't have mashed potatoes on a regular basis. I could be wrong, and Kelly's probably gonna be like, we have mashed potatoes all the time. Tell people we don't have mashed potatoes. I think at those kind of dinners, I'm always like, man, mashed potatoes and gravy, like that's the ticket. So I'm gonna say underrated too, just because of the mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Turkey I could kind of do without, whatever. I don't know.
That's because you haven't had the dark meat. The white meat, yes, you can do without.
Yeah.
What about the meat
All
pie?
right.
Do you guys have meat pie?
No.
I don't trust anything in the shape of a pie that has anything other than
It must be
sweetness to it.
So
Like,
my
you don't
in-laws
trust
are
it?
all French. It must be a
Oh.
French thing.
It must be.
Yeah. And sometimes they put cinnamon in a meat pie.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I've
That's
tasted that.
stupid. But the ones who don't, meat pie is great.
That's like pineapple on pizza.
I
Eh,
like pineapple on pizza.
I'm okay with pineapple on
Really?
pizza. Yeah.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm getting beaten up here. Like I'm getting kind of bullied from my food choices. Like I should never have brought up the horn of plenty. Getting bullied here, like left, right, and center. Like I eat pineapple on pizza, and I also like I also like thin crust pizza. Well done.
Like,
Yeah.
if
I
there's
like any
stuffed
kind of
crust pizza on the table, I'm gonna go stuffed crust pizza.
Really.
Oh yeah.
So on TikTok, there's these guys that just go from one of them that I don't even follow the guy, but I must watch his videos and the algorithm keeps bringing them up. All he does is go to random places and get a large pepperoni and then judge it right in front of the place.
Oh, that's the Barstool Sports guy. I don't know his name, but I know what you're talking about.
So there's that guy, but there's this offshoot guys, and there's a guy
really?
in Welland who does it. So that's the guy I see, the guy from Welland and Hamilton. He's always out there with the cup and char pepperoni. And every time I do this, I'm like, man, I really want I could eat a lot of pizza based off this stupid guy. I try to flip through it now. I'm like, fuck this guy. It's gonna make me want to order a pizza.
Yeah.
But these people are viral doing this. I'm like, could we somehow? So, have you guys ever seen the guy who walks up to the people in the fancy cars and is like, "What do you do for a
Yeah,
living?"
what do you do for a living? Yeah.
A&G, the road cleaners, they made a video where they walked up to one of their trucks and it says mechanic's truck, 125,000. And they said to the guy, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" He's like, "I work at A&G, the road cleaners." And it's the greatest. And I was like, man, that was so fucking smart. I wish I'd thought of that.
Yeah,
That's
is
good.
smart.
I was like, man, that was some inspired Instagram stuff. I was like, man, these guys really beat me to a punch there. Off my game. That was super smart. It was a great video. Anyways. Angie the Road Cleaners sponsoring the next Not Our Finest Hour podcast. If you need your road cleaned, they have big sweeper brooms that spray water. Maybe they could do a huge pad of that sand.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Real fast. That's efficiency.
Real fast.
That's like high flow efficiency.
I got to move the def cube soon. Temperature's going down. I've only used an eighth of it.
So I was thinking about that driving one day. How does it not freeze in the truck? Is it a heated tank? It freezes in the truck?
So the
Is this a
Dodges we
problem
have,
for-
the
Okay.
Dodges we have, We have two of them that are similar to yours. They tell you if you keep the DEF tank full, it will freeze and blow the tank apart because there's no room for expansion. And if you keep the tank below half, it will freeze and the truck won't run. So you have to maintain 3/4 full DEF fluid for the whole winter. And I was like, what, you want me to like run beside the truck with the DEF fluid can going, okay, we burned an ounce. Well, holy shit. Like, what are you talking? Like, the gauge isn't even that fucking accurate. Like, that's literally because we had two of them freeze last year on the two
Holy
Dodges.
shit. I didn't expect this was going to be a problem.
They both froze on the Dodges. I had it freeze on the big truck, but the big truck, I'm pretty sure someone will DM me and tell me that I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the coolant lines on the big truck run through the DEF fluid tank. And so the problem is if the trucks, and that would happen, like I would take out the new one, the 620HX from International Trucks. Thanks for the sponsorship, Rush Trucking. Not. So here's an interesting scenario. I actually sent the link to the podcast to a marketing manager at the manufacturer and was like, hey man, you want to sponsor this podcast? Crickets. Never got back to me. I was like, and he gets back to me with everything. I've known him for like 15 years. He's a super good guy. And I was like, wow, I guess this is not a sponsorable show. Anyways, you would take the 620 out, but the problem is at like minus 30 at 2 o'clock in the morning moving snow, the motor won't heat up. And so the DEF fluid's frozen. And then eventually, if like the temperature goes up, it melts the DEF fluid, the coolant lines running through the tank. But the two Dodge trucks we have, they both froze last winter.
So my Ford never did that, and my little F550 never did that. And we ran those in the winter. Not every day, mind you. And I doubt it was like minus 30 out ever when we ran them. Except, yeah, my 3/4 ton.
Well, maybe I'll be
lucky. Like, I just didn't know that was a thing. Like, I had to worry about keeping it 3/4 full. Or else
I didn't know either till we had Dodges.
Was it a big problem? Like a giant?
I think it froze once.
Fix?
I don't. It might have been like $100. I don't know. Because if you drive the truck inside, the DEF fluid melts and then the truck runs.
Yeah, but I park outside.
Yes. Well, maybe it's not a problem in Cornwall. I don't know.
I'm sure.
I'd never had the problem either till last year when it was like super fucking cold and we were moving snow. And the guys had them, like it just derated their trucks. I think both of them it ended up happening. But it also ended up happening right after we bought the trucks. And we bought the trucks in the winter. So the trucks have been sitting on the lot for a long time. Well, whatever period of time, a couple of weeks, whatever it was. So maybe there was a thing that because they were I don't know. It was a pain in the ass. And then keeping them 3/4 full is super awesome too.
Yeah.
But that problem could be being exaggerated because I know that a couple of DEF fluid tanks blew up on the skid steers on site from some of our clients. In general, DEF fluid is like the scourge of society.
Why are these? You have skid steers with DEF fluid?
Oh yeah.
Who makes those?
Kubota has.
Really?
They all do now. They all have DEF fluid. All the big.
When did they start? Like my T595 doesn't have it.
How old is it?
2018.
Yeah. So my so some of it has to do with
Tier 4, whatever bullshit.
Well, no, the SVL 97s have 97 horsepower, and I think it's anything over 95 horsepower has to have DEF fluid, maybe. Because I think the 95s have DEF fluid too. It's something to do with the size of the machine.
My loader doesn't have it.
What year is it?
2021.
What kind of loader is it?
A Case 321.
So the other thing that was happening was that the manufacturers, so Bobcat ran into all that stuff before everyone else because they make more machines than everyone else, and there was an exemption. And when you ran out of like your credits, social credit society, for conspiracy theorists that are listening. When you ran out of your social credits for your DEF fluid, then you had to start making tier 4 machines or whatever. So maybe Case, like of all the manufacturers, Case is probably one of the smaller ones in terms of construction equipment.
Really?
I don't know. Okay, so now someone
I'd
can
say
look that up. Prove
I'd
me
say
wrong.
Case is bigger than Bobcat. I could be wrong. I don't know. I have no clue.
Case is bigger than Bobcat in the skid steer market? Or Case is
No,
bigger than
no,
Bobcat
in
overall?
construction. I don't know. I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth.
No, because they
And
make
so-
dozers and big excavators and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
and Bobcat
Yeah.
doesn't make any of that
Yeah,
shit.
that's what I figured. Like Case would be bigger, but does it matter?
So the amount of units you made, like you had got so many units before you had to introduce DEF fluid.
Okay.
That was the thing. So Case might, if you make bigger units, like Case makes big dozers and stuff, you probably make less units than if you just make skid steers.
Yeah.
Because like selling a 50-ton shovel for $2 million, I doubt it takes the same amount of time to put that together as it does to put together a
Yeah.
skid steer, I would think.
Yeah.
So
True.
that was one of the things with them. We don't, none of our, like our 595 is a 19 or an 18, and it doesn't have any DEF fluid in it.
Do you find
It's
you
the
blow
last-
a lot of? Do you find you blow a lot of lines on that machine?
We never blew any. The only
Really?
thing that's happened to it is the drive belt snapped, the rubber drive belt in it at like 1,200 hours. And then when we made a video of a cat excavator dragging it around the job site to get it out of the fucking road. And then to Bobcat's credit, they were there. Bobcat, not a sponsor. They came and fixed it right away. So it was
That's fine.
running within like an hour because I guess that drive belt blows so much at 1,200 hours that they have them in stock in their vans or their little mechanic trucks or whatever Bobcat brings. It did, but we haven't blown any hoses up. Well, watch tomorrow. We'll knock on wood, blow some fucking hose off it or something.
Yeah, we blew 3 this year. It's only
Really?
got 700 hours on the thing. But yeah.
You run a lot of attachments though.
Not really. That machine doesn't take a power rake. No, that's all bucket. That
Really?
machine has rarely had anything other than a bucket, but oh well. I'm not the only operator either, right? So everybody drives it different.
Well,
Some
be something to do with the environment in Cornwall.
maybe
Environmental factors. It's because of the burning plastic in the air.
they're burning plastic fumes.
Burning plastic fumes in the air is like just
I haven't burnt plastic in quite some time at the yard. We've sent it all out this year.
But now you
We've
have the
sent it
bin
all
truck.
out. Yeah. Yeah.
Now you have the bin trucks. Our bin truck runs 3 weeks. 20
But don't-
grand later. She runs, baby.
Which one? Don't you have 2?
We have 2, yes. And
Yeah.
one of them, the turbo was blown and the actuator.
Yeah.
And then that, because I didn't ignore it. Anyways, it's a long story. But then the turbo was because the turbo wasn't functioning right and the actuator wasn't functioning right. The exhaust was blowing hot. And so that burned out the DPF. So like just the parts were like 10K.
Jesus.
Like, so, but
Yeah.
that's a like trucking game, right? Like it's expensive to fix them. It's expensive so whatever. There's an air valve leaking on the spiff axle on the new truck, the newer one, or I guess the new one. So like normally I just tell our mechanic, like just get the fucking valve and put it on, because by the rigmarole of going to the dealership and losing the truck for 2 days while they fuck around with it, it's not worth it. It's cheaper to just literally say, okay, whatever, this valve's $50 and
Yeah.
you're in the yard anyways, put it on the fucking truck's good, whatever. We do that a lot with it. But he went to buy the valve and the valve was $700. And I was like, fuck this shit. Truck's going back.
Send it in.
We've hit my limit on this thing. Like it's going back for this valve or whatever that's leaking air. Like not a lot, but Yeah, but the truck running, that was like so Cody's truck, the other bin truck, periodically just dies. Like just cuts out, done. Like,
It's still doing this. Like this has been a problem.
oh,
For a
it's been
couple
doing
weeks
this
now.
it's been going on for a long time. It just dies. Like it just cuts out and dies. So that's like hard to determine because oftentimes 10 minutes later it starts and runs fine.
I had that problem before. Have
It's pretty
you
hard to track down the fucking problem because like
have you looked into the wiring harness? Is there like a short in the wiring harness
so
somewhere?
all the main grounds run to the starter on that. Anyways, so
Yeah.
now all the grounds have been but
It's still fucking up
so
on.
on Friday it died and it wouldn't start after 20 minutes. So we got it towed back we tried to keep it local. It got towed back to the yard. And when it got back to the yard, I said to Cody, like, you want to try it? She was like, no, because it's probably going to fucking start because it's been bouncing up the road on the tow truck. So I was like, well, I'm trying it. Wouldn't start. And I was like, sick. Perfect. It's broken now. We can determine the outcome of it because we have a measure of success on it. When it runs, we're good. So the next morning, the mechanic came, got in it, turned it over, started immediately. What the
Of course it did. Of course it did.
Anyways, now every ground, every wire has been replaced in the entire truck. So we're gonna keep it local and the other one runs great now. So that was like a whole like the level of like the last 3 or 4 weeks for the other one was like, getting parts and different. So we had to take I did nothing, but Brad took the ECM out of the truck, which is like the computer module thing that controls everything, because it wouldn't take the truck after everything was replaced. It wouldn't take the truck out of D rate, so the truck wouldn't go faster than 20 kilometers an hour. Which driving it a long way like that sucks. Because Cody could testify to that because she did it one day to get it back to the yard where it currently was. So, anyways, Brad dropped it off at Peterbilt, and then I said I had free time. I said I'll go because I was waiting for the other truck to get towed back to the yard. So I was like, oh well, I'm waiting for the other truck to get towed back to the yard. I'll go get the part for the other dead truck that's in the yard. So I drove down to Peterbilt and I got the part. And so all they did was hook this thing up to a computer, flash it clear all the codes, and hand it back to me. $600.
No way.
So I'm like, but I mean, I'm in pretty deep on this whole thing. So I'm like, I don't really care. Whatever, bro. Just give it to me. See if we can get the fucking truck to run. So I'm looking at the bill just out of interest sake, and there's a charge on the bill. And it made me think that we don't do this enough in contracting. And it was $95 for technology. It literally said $95 technology. And that was the whole explanation.
That's a great line item.
Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was about to go to the guy and be like, fuck you and your $100 charge for technology. Not some specific just random technology. We're charging $100 for the pop machine. Like random fucking we got treats. What are you talking? Like, so then I was like, maybe it's for the computer. Like they got to replace it. And I was like, maybe I need to start a line item for technology. Like I was talking to Tyler. I don't know if we've ever talked about this on this podcast, maybe, but I was talking to Tyler from Xterra once from Instagram, and he has a $250 standard charge for your patio furniture you don't want in every contract.
Yeah, we talked about that. I like that.
Yeah, I think it's so. I'm going to introduce a technology charge. I want to see if someone asks me about it. If I could collect $100 for technology off every job, I could buy a new laptop.
Yeah.
I wonder why they don't just put that into something else as opposed to opening that question, right?
Well, they
Like
charged
that-
me
That would be an
32
interesting question to ask them. Okay, what is this $100 technology charge? And to try to hear them kind of justify that would be pretty funny. We should have them on the podcast.
Peterbilt? Yeah, fuck them. Sure. Sponsor us, Peterbilt. So the other charge they had that was interesting was $32.40 worth of shop supplies. And I'm like, if you just said it was $30 for shop supplies, it'd be like, whatever, that's some bull. You plug the ECM into a computer, and somehow doing that managed to consume $32.40 worth of shop supplies. How many times did you wash your hands? How much sanitizer did you use? Like the whole fucking bottle? Like how many paper towels? Like, and on top of that, like $32.40 exactly. Not $30, not $35. I need to recoup this 40 cents worth of shop supplies. And I was like, again, I'm not doing something right because I should be. Listen, we came here. Guys washed their hands 15 times on your job. They used $7.38 worth of paper towel. It's going on your bill. Like I feel like we should at the end of every job we should be doing itemized billing, like and adding up all this shit that we
Could
just.
you imagine? Like my handling. Well, I mean, what should be a handling fee for all the fucking garbage that I pull off a site? Like even like the pallet wraps and shit, right? Like we're doing a 50 pallet that big stepper job there. Those we're using those. So I don't know.
When I was watching that, I was like, we got to get Techoblock as a fucking sponsor. My God.
Oh, anyway, there's a ton of fucking garbage that comes off that, right? Like, so I'm like floating garbage home from this job 2 hours away from our shop to bring home to either burn or put in our bin. But there's like hours worth of handling this stuff by the time we're done the job, right?
Yeah.
All stuff that we could be maybe billing for.
How much do you guys line item things when you hand out estimates?
I don't.
Not
really anymore.
not commercially, residentially.
Well, if you go to my website to my coaching section, you can apply the Favor King contract, and then you can apply it. But I do recommend you take it to a lawyer anyways, because it's probably fucked up for wherever you live. Just joking. I line item major items. I'm line item cleanup. Like end of the job, cleanup, sodding, like because I used to include it, but then like because we were breaking up like big jobs, like realistically the sodding at the end of the job, like whatever to sod your way out of the project, that should really be split amongst the patio, the outdoor kitchen, the pergola, because all of those things use that roadway to get to the back. But then as soon as you do that, then someone's like, you know what? Say you include a percentage on the items. I love this estimate, not doing the outdoor kitchen. I'm like, okay, well, the $3,000 I allowed facade just became $1,500 because the outdoor kitchen was such a big item. So I started just saying, this is the charge at the end of the job for cleanup and sod. And I included as a line item like maybe 3 years ago because I was like, well, whatever, no matter how much I do at this house, I need $3,000 to clean up the fucking mess. Yeah. If all I do is install a bunch of stairs and a path instead of pavers, Chad.
I've been there for months. Okay, like I'm at the tail end of this thing.
That is,
I don't know how much more I could take.
I've seen a lot of installations in my life. The amount of stairs that were used to make the path, and I just like, why is that?
I was wondering the same.
I'm just interested.
The client is phenomenal, and money is not the issue. That's all that there really is to it. Whenever budget is not a factor, you can get what you want.
So are you going to fill in between all the stairs?
Yeah, they're already filled. We've got 4 more steps to put in tomorrow, I think, and then knock on wood, that's all of it for that job. There's probably, I don't know, maybe 150 of them, 4 and 5 footers.
It's cool. Like, I think it's super cool. Like, it's
What was the decision behind the steps? So was it the grade, so that you didn't have to, like, I don't know.
They're not even steps. They're just big step stones, right? Like, there's nothing special to them.
But did you want them because of the look of them? Like, I know they're being buried, but the length and width of them, you were like, I want that look. So it looks like a piano keys or whatever.
You have to understand that I had very little design input on this project.
Oh, okay.
Right? This is, we like you, you're great, do what we want to do. And I tuck my tail between my legs and just do what I'm asked to do on this one.
That makes sense.
Like, it's fine. Like, it's not necessarily, like, there's been some things that I've had to change because I've done them my way and they weren't the way that the client expected them to be done. So we went back and we changed them. And I wouldn't necessarily do this for anyone but this client. But we're just happy to be on the tail end of things. And he's phenomenal. Like, I can't say a bad thing about the client. So I mean, we'll definitely work for him again, and we have other projects with him in the future. But I had little design input on this one.
Is this the right time to talk about slabs?
So so I didn't, the material too. We put in those monster slabs. Have you guys used it? The biggest ones that I haven't seen a slab bigger than this. 32 by 48.
Yeah,
inch.
I feel pretty certain I know who they're made by.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
32 by 48 inch.
Have you ever seen
slabs?
Have you ever seen there's a guy who draws cartoons, and my kids used to watch him on YouTube. He does like little cartoons about his life, and he spent a lot of time working at Subway, and so he has all these like videos about working at Subway, and he talks about it as Subway all the time. Subway, and they can't sue him because it's Subway. And I think the green is yellow and the yellow is green on the Subway ad or whatever it is. Like, and I feel like I was thinking about, like, just driving somewhere. I was like, man, we need to start like our own Subway references to people. Like, and the Subway. Anyway, sorry, what was wrong with the slabs, Chad?
How close is too close? They were just too fucking big. Like, they're just too big. We've come to a point where these things are too fucking big. And that's all there is to it. Out of every pallet that we put down, at least one is cracked or broken on the pallet. Usually the bottom one, sometimes the bottom two, just because they're just too fucking big.
What thickness are they?
60 mil.
Oh, really?
So, speaking from some experience as someone who dealt with lots of broken slabs on skids, maybe in a previous life, a lot of it has to do with how they're strapped on the truck.
Is that the excuse that they told you to say?
I don't mean your truck. I mean the transport trucks, because they pull down on them and then they go down the road and they flex, and it breaks the bottom slabs. And some of it has to do with the weight too. If there's too many on them, it'll also break them.
Are you suggesting they be less safe on the road by not strapping them so tight?
No, I'm just telling you why they break. That's one of the reasons, is because of the way they are strapped on the trucks.
Yeah.
And also when there's so much weight on, I'm being serious. This is a real thing. I'm not, obviously I wouldn't parlay myself to help anyone. But that's one of the reasons, because like there's a couple products that are very large from another manufacturer that starts with an O, and you'll get the bottom two layers. They'll be broken ones because they're 50 mil and there's so much weight pushing down.
Yeah.
Because 50 mil skids are the heaviest skids on the market.
Oh,
80
yeah.
mil skids are the lightest. Because of the you can't get as tall and you can't get the volume on an 80 mil skid.
What about those
Yeah.
fucking large slab granite slabs? Like 5,000 pounds of fucking pallet. Have you seen those? They're made by your old employer.
I don't know. I have not seen them. No.
No? Lexa
Don't buy a shit ton
slab.
of stuff from my old employer.
Lexa, they're beautiful. they're gore. Like I would, if I had to put in a patio at my place, I would use that stuff. But the pallet, I think a full pallet of that stuff weighs just under 5,000 pounds or something like that.
Wow.
It's nuts. Like I was pushing them around with the skid steer because we
Yeah,
couldn't
well,
lift them.
The best strapping. So we used to do back in the day a lot of like custom masonry, like rock face masonry, like real masonry, and
Yeah.
we used to do these huge entry features. I'm waving my hands; no one can fucking see. Big entry features, and they would have these custom huge pieces of precast concrete that were poured, and then we would get them sandblasted, like whatever neighborhood you're going into, Imagination or whatever. So there was one, and it was like half the. It was probably 25, maybe 30 feet long, and it was a sign that we had to have a 20-ton excavator to hang this thing. So it came on the truck, and the way the guy strapped it, it flexed it, and then we hung it, and then cracks all started to form in it, and then we had to go pull it out. And I don't know what that piece of precast was worth at the time. This was a long time ago, maybe 10 or 15 years, but it was probably still a $6,000 or $7,000 piece of precast. So we pulled it out, broke it into a couple pieces. I took it in my dump trailer and then dumped it at the fucking concrete recycling pile. And I'm dumping out these huge signs, and I'm like, "Oh, someone correct." But that was all because of how it was strapped on the truck. And the next time they brought it vertical. Because it's harder to get it to break that way than it is to break it when it's flat. So those big, I saw the big slabs that were broke. Yeah, like there's always going to be tons of broken ones. Like,
so I don't know if there's a way to mitigate this. Like maybe we're putting, or maybe the manufacturer is putting fucking 2 inches of foam at the bottom or something. But
well, I think they need
something's got to change because
that's just more plastic to burn.
Well, whatever. More handling for me, fine. But now I'm handling broken slabs that are too big to pick up by hand, and I've got 3 fucking full pallets of them at the yard. And I'm texting the rep, "What can I get a credit for this?" She's like, "Go online." Thanks.
Go online where?
I don't know. We buy fucking $50,000 of your product, and all you can say is go online. I'm like, I don't know.
Go online.
Go online.
And what, like look at porn?
Look at, I don't know. No,
like, go online for what?
I'm assuming there's a form you fill out when you go online to say.
Like she couldn't be bothered to send you the
no,
link?
she couldn't. No.
Like a link. Like just send me a link. Like here's a link. Go online just go online randomly.
Yeah,
I'll
pull up.
Hit up the internet, man.
Yeah,
just hit it up. Just hit up the internet. Some good shit will happen.
Oh no, she did.
Have you heard of the www?
She says, "Please go to our website and fill up a claim. You will need pictures and invoices." Yeah, because I'm trying to steal your fucking shitty material. So anyway, that's how I feel about that.
Do you think that anyone, like, I don't know if I've met a contractor, like just based on personality and who contractors are in general, in any realm of contracting, that would get home from work, sit down at a computer and be like, "I'm going to file a bunch of fraudulent claims to try and get back $50 from these people."
Yeah. No.
Like I don't.
It's not worth my time.
It's I think a lot of them count on that. It's not worth your fucking time.
Well, no, it'll be worth my time because now there's 3 pallets of the broken stuff, right? So I'll file that, but it's not going to be in July or August or September. It's going to be in December whenever we're sitting at home because there's 2 feet of snow outside. Then
You're
I'll
not-
put the time in.
Not plowing.
Not plowing. So
Are you doing any plowing or no? You're out.
nope.
Out.
I booked one vacation and I'm looking at booking the second one.
Nice.
So we'll.
I think we're gonna go away in December.
Where are you gonna
Where
go?
you guys going?
I don't know yet. Somewhere because there's no fucking soccer in the month of December.
Oh,
So 6 days a week of velocitering to soccer. You know, on a different topic, how much easier, honestly, do you think the world would be if people just did what you asked them to do? I
Are you talking like
Yeah.
employees or are you?
Anyone. No, anyone. Fuck employees. I'm talking anyone. Like, so here's my example. The Veloster brakes make a horrible screeching sound. Like, it's horrible. There's clearly something wrong with them since the day I drove it. So there was some other, it needed an oil change. It still had the winter tires on it. I don't think it's not a well-loved vehicle, so it had a few things that needed to be done. So I took it to the Hyundai dealership. Hyundai shoot us a sponsorship. Maybe the story's bad. Anyways, I said, okay, here's a list of things I need you to do. Please do them. And they called me halfway through the day and I said, I'm drive a lot in this car. Like, it's very little. I need it to be as safe as possible so I don't get crushed and die. So just do the list. And one of the list was the horrible sounding brakes. So they called me, don't need new brakes. They need to be greased and lubed or whatever. The brake pads are seized. I was like, okay, great. Do that. Like, whatever. They're like, it's going to be however. I'm like, listen, I don't care how much it is. It's a Veloster. I just bought a fucking turbo that was $7,500. Probably worth more than the whole fucking Veloster for one turbo with the actuator for the truck. I don't give a shit about the Veloster. Like, just fix it. Whatever. It's all fixed. Driving the Veloster today, the brakes still sound. I'm like, but now I have to like make another appointment, take the car back, like, and I'm like, if you people are killing me, I'll pay you. I'm just asking you to do what I said. Fix the brakes. I don't need you to save me some money by lubing them up and hoping for the best. I need you to just fix the fucking brakes. Like, I'm not looking for you to like, just fix it. Like, just fix it. I don't. If it's a $500, I'll give you $500. If it's $1,000, I'll give you the money. I don't care. Anyways, in that moment, as we were getting off the 407 and the brakes were like, I was like, I really wish sometimes people would just do what I asked them to do. In general, a woman. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mike.
A woman at soccer today. I parked the Veloster, backed it in. A woman in a minivan backed into the Veloster in the parking lot in a brand new Toyota Sienna. And I was like, I can't believe that thing didn't stop you before you hit me. The fucking Toyota Sienna. I didn't even get out of the car. You know what I did? I pulled the car ahead 3 feet so that she fucking didn't think I hit her when she came back. Because she got out to leave and I was like, she's going to look at this situation where her van is shoved up against my car and be like, stupid Veloster, it just backed into my van, which is not what happened at all. I was like, I'm just going to pull the Veloster ahead 3 feet. So I didn't even talk to her. I didn't look at her. I was like, whatever. She didn't hit it very hard, but she clearly hit it. And I was like, I just don't have to, I can't even deal with you. I'm out. I'm out of this. I'm not dealing with you and your fucking backing into the Veloster. It's a brand new van. Like, you tell me it doesn't have a backup camera and lights and all kinds of shit. Like, holy fuck. It's hard to get in an accident nowadays. Gotta work at it.
Yeah. You gotta work at it.
Gotta work at it. Today we were leaving the job site and just our luck, we pulled out right behind a line painting
Oh my God.
car. He wasn't doing the painting, but he was being like holding up traffic so that the line painter a kilometer ahead could paint the lines. And after 20 minutes of going 5 kilometers an hour behind this guy, the guy behind me decides that he's had enough, and whenever the double solid becomes a single dashed line, he was going to go for it. And as soon as that line split, the pace car, I guess, in front of me jumped out in front of him. I swear the guy hardly had time to put it in park, and he was just fucking screaming at this guy, "Hey, stop!" And he was he was risking his fucking life so that this guy wouldn't go in front of his pace car. Like, I swear, like, he was inches from getting hit. And obviously the guy that jumped in front of me didn't love that idea, and he had a pontoon boat on his trailer. So
Oh my God.
yeah, he had a decent sized rig on, and so I let the guy back in front of me, and we carry on down the road. But this guy with his pontoon boat is now so pissed off that he's driving on the lines and looking in front of the pace car and just getting fucking paint all over. Anyway, it was a big fiasco. And then the guy's tires were all yellow and stuff, and there may have been some paint on the boat, but
Ouch.
but I don't know. But it was a piss off. It was like 20, 25 minutes behind this guy, just waiting to get to the highway.
Jesus. There was no escape.
There was no escape. There was no way around country roads. Like, I don't know why these guys don't do this in the middle of the night. Well, I feel like that would be
Overtime.
a much better time to overtime.
The taxes would go up.
Yeah, no, that's subbed out, right? Like, that's
Not where we are. Where we are,
no.
Durham Region has their own line painting thing.
they have it said provincial line painting on the guy's truck. But that has
sounds
to be
like
a private company.
That sounds like a private company.
Yeah. So
Have you ever hired a line painter?
no, but I talked to one on Instagram. He actually lives in my city. He does really good work. But no,
We used to hire line painters all the time. It was always part of our contract.
really.
Paint the lines. Yeah.
So
Parking lots.
was asphalt in your scope too then?
Lots of times, yeah.
Yeah, we don't do any asphalt.
We used to take like the whole
job.
anything
You
outdoors.
were the GC then.
Of the outdoors a lot of times, yeah. Because it's just easier than we had a concrete guy.
Oh,
It makes it an easier package to sell to someone too.
yeah.
But if you're doing everything, they don't
Clients
have to.
love that. Yeah, for sure.
They don't have to deal with a concrete because the problem is on some of our jobs was it coordinated when the concrete got done and what order it got done.
Yeah.
My internet connection is unstable. Just so you
It
know.
cut out for a minute there, but we heard you.
You're back.
You heard me? Perfect. I'm back. All right, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
I don't know about you
Yeah,
guys,
guys,
I'm tired. Chad
Love you,
doesn't
don't
even
get
need to go get changed. He's wearing
No,
no fucking
I'm
shirt.
ready for bed, and it's way
This-
past my bedtime.
This is the end of the podcast.